Hi, I'm George the Weather Dad, and we're going to be talking about the next 7 days. And those of us right here in the Midwest, it's going to be nice. Spring is going to be showing up. Temperatures probably some 20 to 25 degrees above normal by the time we end the upcoming week. Let's talk about it, shall we? Here on your Sunday, it's still going to be a little bit chilly across the area. Temperatures pretty close to normal. Normal highs for this time of year right around 50, with normal lows right around 30. So for the most part, nothing really all that warm across the country, with the exception of Florida, where you're going to be just seeing 80-degree weather all over the place. By Monday, you're starting to see that warm up there in the central U.S., and by Tuesday, it starts really working its way into the Midwest. Still very cold across the northern tier of states, but for the most part, this is where the battle zone is going to be sitting for the next almost 6 to 7 days, and that's going to allow warmer temperatures into this area. Let's take a look at Wednesday. Again, pretty much not too bad. A couple of showers could cool things off a little bit right here in the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley, but once again, look at the warmer air down to the south. By Thursday, you see a nice little warm up. So we're looking at temperatures at least in the 70s right here in the Ohio Valley, 80s and possibly even a few 90s down into Texas. A bit chillier though off to the west, and you'll see that when I start showing you the precipitation. Here by Friday, take a look. A massive storm system there in the central U.S. will bring a lot of warmer air up. That's why I think Friday will probably be the warmest day out of the next 7. It's also going to get a little bit breezy as well. But unfortunately, those still very warm temperatures here and cold temperatures there. That's the ingredients for some potential severe weather. And take a look at what happens here on Saturday temperature wise. Notice it starts cooling off a little bit, but notice this swatch of yellow, and that's where things are going to get real dicey, and I'll show you that on the precipitation maps. And there will be some cooler air filtering behind it, but this system is going to be moving more towards the northeast, so the real cold air is going to stay away from the Midwest, but it'll be a little bit chillier next week than it will be the upcoming week. All right, precipitation. This is where it gets interesting. There's going to be some rain along the southeast. You can see a pretty good swath of precipitation approaching the west coast there on your Sunday. Again, you could see a little bit of severe weather in the southeast as this little disturbance moves through Florida. You're going to get some much needed rain, especially in South Florida. But the rest of us are going to be pretty dry for the most part. That's on Monday, Tuesday, pretty dry, a little bit breezier as that warmer air starts working its way up. There's a little bit of energy that will move its way in, and that's going to produce a couple of showers as we head on into Tuesday and Wednesday. You kind of see it there even, but there will be some cloudiness a little bit more. So it's going to feel nice and warmer than what we have had, but for the most part, it could see a couple of showers. It does show up there. You can see it there by later on in the upcoming week. But here's that real big piece of energy there really plowing into the west coast, giving lots of precipitation, snow in the higher elevations, rain in the lower elevation. And then as we continue on here, this is on our Friday now. There's that big system, lots of wind, a lot of warm air ahead of it. But notice this batch of moisture moving its way up. Look what happens here by next Saturday. A very strong line of severe weather. Once again, very warm air here, very cold air there. The battle zone sets up, and that's where we could see some severe weather. We're still some 7 days out, so a lot could happen between now and then. But keep in mind, this could be something to watch out for next weekend. Until that time, though, enjoy all the warm weather that we're going to be seeing here in the Midwest. Now, 70s is not necessarily very warm, but it's going to feel warm because what we're used to has been very, very cold. I'll be back in a few days. I'm George, the Weather Dad.